Wagwan masses, welcome back to One Name Sports. Today, we're going to go over just the best players so far in the Premier League. I'll limit it to one per team, and then in the second half of the video, I'll get into the best players in the bottom half of the table and possibly where they would be better suited or to take their talents to. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, now starting off, the formation I chose to go with is an old school one, 4-4-2. And to start off, to me, the best keeper in the Premier League by far, and in the Fantasy Premier League, is Emi Martinez. Arsenal, time will tell, because Leno is a really good keeper as well, but time will tell if they really let one slip through their fingers there. But he has been tremendous, and I think he didn't play the first 3 or 4 games for Aston Villa, and he's, behind Ederson, but he's literally been keeping Aston Villa in certain games for them to turn it around. So just by far the best goalkeeper in the Prem for me right now, especially in terms of his importance. Moving on from there, the one I'd go with in defense, well, two. First, I'll have to go with Ruben Diaz. Costs a lot of money, but right now at this point in the season, he has had the Virgil van Dijk effect back there, the leader that they've been missing since Company has gone away. Now, don't get me wrong, Laporte, world class. But Ruben come in and it was a whole different kind of movements with him. He's as good technically and passing and in terms of reading the game as Laporte, but he's a better leader. Everybody back there is a little bit more confident with him there, and he's brought John Stones out of the bush because he was getting ready to leave. Pep seemed like he wanted him gone, and now he looked like he's the first name on the team sheet for England right now. So yeah, just shout out to Ruben Diaz, money well spent there. Ake look like a foo-foo buy on the other hand, but I'll leave that alone. Next to him, I'd put Thiago Silva. We know his reputation beforehand, before he came to the Premier League. Everybody kind of felt though, with PSG letting him go, it's kind of got a fade. He's a luxury player, but trust me, Chelsea, they were going with bits and pieces between Zuma and Christensen and Rudiger. Thiago Silva came in like a Bentley truck and just easy to play. Just class, and it shows between him and another player that is at and Zlatan. It just shows that class is permanent. Don't watch the age too much, because look at the impact that he had. Now, I will go for left back. The best left back in the Premier League for me, and probably the only defender or player that's been consistent for Liverpool, is easy Andy Robertson. Flying winger. He's doing everything, attack, defense. The team goes as Andy goes at this point. It's been bits and pieces across the back. Trent looked like everybody figure out his game. He can go forward, but man can't tackle. He can't really read the game that well. He's just getting exposed. So yeah, just by far, Andy Robertson, best left back in the Prem. No, I'm going to cheat a little bit for the right back. I'm going to go with James Justin. He's played everywhere across the Leicester backfield. Left back, center back, right back. But the man, versatile, he's strong, he's fast. Got some bad news that he has an ACL injury, so he'll be out for the rest of the season. But he kept Pereira out of the team. And Pereira, before Pereira got injured, was the best right back in the Premier League, arguably, because Trent was doing his thing. But James Justin, man, I've seen him shut people down. He reminded me a little bit of like his combination of size and speed and strength. Remind me of Kyle Walker, younger Kyle Walker, because Kyle Walker kind of pushed to the side because of Cancelo's form. But yeah, Justin looks really good, and that's a player I'm going to pick from Leicester. So far we have Emi, Ruben Diaz, Thiago Silva, Andy Robertson, and James Justin. Let's move on to the midfield. All right, in midfield, at the time this video coming out, now again, just stretching the rules a little bit, But at the time this video come out, Southampton aren't in the first 11, but I feel like their team is good enough where they will be coming in the season. If not, to me it's between them and Leeds, but whatever. Midfield right now, Ward-Prowse. Beckham in the midfield, most dangerous man right now on free kicks in the Premier League. He works hard, he gets assists, and you know, his set piece ability there. For the West Ham player that I was putting in there now, Souček, I'm not gonna lie, I really wanted to put Souček in there, but I'm gonna go with Jared Bowen because there was maybe a 10 game run earlier in the season where he was doing everything for them, especially offensively. They couldn't get anything from Hilaire. I think Antonio was kind of out of the team at that time, but Bowen was running the show. So it's between him and Souček, but I'll give Bowen the nod on this one, especially in terms of balance for my midfield. Attacking midfield, you already know, Bruno Fernandes, less said about him. You know what I mean? He's probably the player of the season so far. So I'll leave that there. That's just easy. On the left side, I'm going to go with Bukayo Saka. Talk about showing up who were supposed to be better and, you know, more expensive players. Pepe can't hold a candle to him. Willian is a waste of cash. Aubameyang is not as effective on the wing. He's like, they put the 7 on his back, and for the start of the season they tried to put him at left back, and a young player like Saka, he's like, you know, as long as I'm playing. But the team goes with him. He does everything. He's the engine for the team. He's the creative spark for the team, and he moving like this, he looks like a young Sterling. That's what he looks like, you know. So, you know, strength to strength. He should easily be on the plane to the Euros this summer. So love watching Bukayo Saka play. Great player. So again, the midfield, we have Ward-Prowse, Bruno, Bowen. You could swap him with Souček, but I'm going with Bowen and Bukayo Saka. Now on to the forwards. Now, the forwards were actually really difficult to pick. Like, there's a lot of strikers right now in the Premier League that are, you know, 10 goals plus. Wish a couple of them was at Man U, but you know how that go. But at the end, it just became very, very easy to pick. It's 2 England men, Harry Kane and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. What can I say? There was a time at the start of the season where Calvert-Lewin looked like prime Ronaldo through the air, but like more consistently. Like, there's nothing. He looked like a wide receiver. He looked like he was heading stuff, but using his hands. Look, it was crazy. And even though I think he went on maybe a 6 to 10 game run, I don't know, but it felt like he didn't score for a while, and he's still second in scoring in the Premier League. Harry Kane, the pace he was on, he looked like he was going for 2020. He can still do it. Tottenham kind of fell off the wayside heavily, but yeah, Harry Kane Mourinho turned him into a false 9. And right now he's playing 8, 9, sometimes 6. He's definitely playing 10. Other than Bruno, he's been the best player in the Premier League to me. Now, a couple honorable mentions. Per my rules, as you've seen, I pick 1 player from each team in the first 11, or what I think the last 11 will be at the end of the season. But Son, definitely I'd take Bowen out and put Son in there. Souček, as I mentioned before. Vardy's been very good. Salah being his usual selfish self. I'm trying to think. Luke Shaw has been really, really good as well. So Cresswell. So yeah, a lot of those players could definitely just get swapped out. But the full 11, as you can see, Emi, Thiago, Ruben Diaz, Robertson, Justin, James Ward-Prowse, Bruno Fernandes, Bukayo Saka, Bowen, Harry Kane, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Let me know if you have a better 11 per my rules, one per team, that you'd put down in the comment section below. And now we're going to move on and get into the best players from the bottom half of the table. The last 10, I'm going to try to do 10. I'm going to keep it there. And so for the best players that I picked in the bottom half of the table, I'm going to put each of them on one of the teams in the top half, with the exception of City, because City don't need no more help. Starting off, I'll go with a goalkeeper, Nick Pope. Burnley's not going anywhere. If they survive maybe another season or two, eventually they're going down. Pope is a really, really good keeper, and one team right now that suffering from inconsistency at that position is Everton. He can easily well take Jordan Pickford's job. He should for England. And the opportunity is there for him to be at Everton for a long time. So I think that would be a good move for both parties. Moving on from there, I'll go with Mateus Pereira. Tricky little baller, very similar to Ben Rama. That's now at West Ham, so that's not where I would put him. I'd actually put him over at Aston Villa. Grealish is really too good to be there. I don't know if anybody can afford him, but he shouldn't be there. That being said, if Grealish ever picks up an injury, right, you know I know where Shinga is already from morning, them done. Them done. The man single-handedly keep them in the Premier League last year, and he's irreplaceable in their team. So bringing in a man like Pereira to be kind of the understudy, to build that kind of, link-up play with Grealish and with Ali Watkins. If Grealish does leave, Pereira would be the guy. No, I mentioned West Ham before. Their biggest need for me would be a striker, and the striker that shouldn't be on the team that he is right now is the big bad Jamaican, Bobby Reed. Bobby Reed moving to West Ham. He's not a high-profile striker, which I feel like with West Ham's aspirations they would want eventually. But they also rely on Mikel Antonio, another Jamaican adjacent. But they rely on Mikel Antonio to lead the line. He is though made out of glass and wet tissue paper. So how long can you rely on him to be there to stay in the lineup? So having Bobby Reed as a second striker for now, and a third striker when you bring in whoever you bring in, is a good option for me. Playing at a bigger team, you see how the man move. He just looks like he's ready for that next step to be staying in the Premier League. West Ham would be the place to be. Another very impressive player for me this season is Basuma from Brighton. He shouldn't be there. He looks like a general in the defensive midfield position, very similar to Ndidi or something like that. And a team that has a deficiency, especially in their center of a midfield. Not going by their form right now, but with how Partey seems to be just getting niggle, bringing in Basuma for Arsenal, I think would be a great fit. He's younger than Partey. He should be a lot cheaper. And that steal that they'd have between Partey and Basuma and possibly Xhaka, yeah, I think he'd be a great fit there. Going across London to the rivals, looking at Tottenham. I think for them right now they have I can't remember his name, but they have that striker on loan that's been doing bits for them in the Europa League, but that's on loan. I think a great option for them would be Callum Wilson. Yes, Newcastle, they really do need a striker, but him going from Bournemouth to Newcastle, I think it was a steal for them. I know he had an off year last year, but he was playing for England. There's obviously some talent there, and he'd be a good backup for Harry Kane. He wouldn't be really challenging him for the position, but Kane is consistently getting an injury, a little niggle here and there, and to have another England hopeful international squad player in there would keep the camaraderie together, and I think he'd be a good fit for Tottenham, and he'd be relatively cheap. Looking a little further up, another player that's probably should be a lot further in terms of the teams he's playing for is Wilfred Zaha. Didn't get his move to Arsenal a couple years back. He should have, because Pepe turned out to be not worth 7 million, much less 70. So I think for him going to Leicester would be a great fit. Just the speed between him and Vardy. They'd be playing in Europe. The only problem is the price tag. Crystal Palace, you know, they know when to bug out and ask for 75 million or something like that. But yeah, I feel like Leicester would be a great step for him. You know, he'd be challenging with the big dogs, playing in bigger games. I think that would be just crazy. Again, the link up between him and Vardy. Must see TV. For Liverpool right now, they're in semi-crisis mode, but 2 years of that high intensity that they play was the bubble was bound to pop because they weren't bringing in many players. I'm going back to the team for them that they rated before to get Jota, and I'd say pick up Neto. It seems, I don't want it to sound like salt or anything, but between Mane and Salah, one of them probably gonna leave, if not maybe Bobby Firm. And yeah, bringing in Neto, the drive that he plays with every time he gets the ball, I think him and Robertson on one side of the field, both doing essentially the same thing. I'm sorry for whoever is playing right back on the other side, but yeah, Neto I think would be a great fit for Liverpool, especially how they play. He presses really well, he runs really hard, really high engine. So yeah, definitely Neto to Liverpool. Now I have cheated a little bit, but I have 2 players from Leeds to finish off my list. The first one I'd say is Rafinha. Now, since Tuchel, whatever you want, has come into Chelsea, they're playing 3 at the back with 2 wing backs, and I think Rafinha would fit that system perfectly. Now, I love Hudson-Odoi. Wouldn't want to see him lose in game, but have you seen Rafinha play this season? The man's crazy. Love seeing Rafinha play. I think he's still a little bit too small to be like a real winger, but as a wing back, yeah, he can do that. And then last but not least, gotta go with Calvin Phillips, another Jamaican adjacent. But just the way he spreads the ball, the way he play, these don't look like the same team whenever he's not in the formation. It just shows like he has that Pirlo, Tonali, you know, kind of role within their team. So I think for him, especially with me seeing Pogba leaving this summer, him coming to Man U would be really good. Playing that deeper role, it'd be a nice replacement / squad member, because I don't think he'd come in and start. But we'd have an England hopeful / player that they'll get called up in there. We kind of need that, I think, just on our jersey sales, kind of financial kind of thing. But his range of passing, I don't think McTominay has that. Fred has it, but he's a little undersized. If we bring in Calvin Phillips, I think Matic can go about in business. Again, Pogba, I hope he leaves this summer. But yeah, Phillips bringing in, especially with Van de Beek, it'll be a nice little core behind Bruno going forward. Let me know what you think. If you have any other picks for players that are in the bottom half of the table, either now or what you project for the end of the season that you think should move. Yes, I do realize I picked no one from Sheffield, same way I picked nobody for Man City. You're at the top, you're at the bottom, stay away there. But I'm back. Expect to see more videos more consistently. Please like, subscribe, and share. This is One Aim Sports.